So, first things first, all my previous reviews of From Software's games had a lot of crossover. I didn't get very far into one review without referencing another. Bloodborne did this better than Elden Ring, or Dark Souls 3 did this better than Bloodborne, etc. But this game is something else, and may actually be what I've been yearning for these past 3 games. In the beginning, the titular shinobi lurks in the bottom of a well, beaten by the soldiers of the Interior Ministry and weaponless. You make your way out, wall jumping and sneaking through tall grass. You'll come to grips with the ledge grabs and shimmy mechanics pretty quickly. You then find Kuro, a young boy who possesses the dragon's heritage, sharing his blood grants immortality. Kuro refers to you as Wolf, which is your name, though you are referred to as Sekiro a little later on. Kuro grants you your katana and you cut through many samurai to make your way to safety, but are soon confronted by Genichiro, a member of the Ashina clan with plans to use Kuro's blood to grant himself, as well as his soldiers, immortality. It becomes very clear, very quickly, that you are no match for him. By this point, you don't even understand the nuances of the combat system, and you're just getting maimed by this guy. Finally, a second entry. You awake with a mechanical arm. This strange fellow, sat in the dark, only referred to as the sculptor, is the one that gave you a hand. You press on, eager to save Kuro. Here is where you can get familiar with all the collectibles and mechanics. Most notably is your brand new grappling hook. Allows you to zip around the map, not unlimited in its capabilities, as you are restricted to a finite amount of grappling points, but there's plenty of them, and they're all in the places you'd want to grapple to anyway. Emma here gives you a formal rundown on your healing gourd and tells you about the gourd seeds. Each seed you collect adds 1 more charge to your healing gourd, this game's equivalent of a healing potion, prayer beads. Collecting 4 of these will allow you to upgrade your health and defense, though in game they are referred to as vitality and posture, respectively. Your posture allows you to take more hits whilst guarding, and your vitality allows you to take more hits while you're not guarding, basically. Prosthetics. These are upgrades or new weapons which can be embedded into your mechanical arm. Shurikens, loaded axes, spears, etc. The combat is exceptional! The clashing of katanas is music to my ears. The sound of your opponent's posture breaking makes the hairs on the back of your neck stick up. You have 2 objectives in combat: break your opponent's posture and of course reduce their health to 0. But you do really want to prioritise breaking their posture by building up this meter. You do this by keeping pressure, attacking and parrying. Eventually they will tire and you then have the opportunity to deliver an oh so sweet death blow. The lower the health is, the easier it is to break their posture. Combat is a nice balance between these 2 things. All standard enemies will be taken out with 1 death blow instantly, but tougher enemies can take a few. And one other thing, it just works so elegantly. Like, it's not clunky or unpolished or anything. There's variety in defense, as many moves you're better off using an alternate method of parrying, such as the Makiri counter, where you stomp on an enemy's weapon as they thrust it towards you. Or if they do a sweep attack, you jump up and boot them in the face before getting off a few quick swipes. You're not restricted by a stingy stamina bar. Instead, you're only left vulnerable if you overextend yourself, but through that, the only person you ever have to blame if you die is yourself. This is the case always anyway, but for a lot of other games, even other FromSoft games, it can feel like some deaths are unearned or cheap. This game, never. Every move has impact, but act fast, parry and counterattack as soon as you can, otherwise they'll swing at you again. In other FromSoft games, you parry and you get a decent window to then realise you've parried correctly and counterattack. Whereas here, you've really just got to have faith that you've parried at the right time and then counterattack almost instantly. Makes every input that much more precise. You also get a variety of things to make your wolf unique. A weapon art, triggered by using both the bumpers, is basically a special move or a heavy attack, all with their own unique properties, strengths and weaknesses. Your prosthetic arm can be fitted with a collection of fun toys, all of which can be upgraded and made better with these materials you'll naturally collect throughout the game. These prosthetics are more so accessories to complement the already perfect core combat, and though you'd maybe be better off strategically using these, you can't help but just run in and start swinging. Trading with a boss and seeing the sparks of the katanas, it all happens so fast, my instinct was always to lean on old reliable. Also, these prosthetics and arts use spirit emblems. They are limited but easily bought from any idol. You also have different ninjutsu to equip, which is another unique ability you can spring whenever you backstab an enemy. These are a little more bizarre. The blood smoke ninjutsu will transform the enemy's blood into a red mist so you can retake the element of surprise. The puppeteer one is good too, and is also required to be able to access certain areas. Backstab a certain enemy, inflict the puppeteer ninjutsu, and watch them do your bidding. Broken record, but we're 4 for 4 here. Sekiro does not disappoint with its boss battles. The first major boss is Genichiro, the cheeky bastard that took your arm. Is it something to finally get to him and do some real damage? It's the setting too. You've climbed all the way up this castle, pressing onward to ensure Kuro's safety. He's a good lad. So many games make their kid characters annoying, and it was very possible for that to be the case here, with you essentially being his personal bodyguard and him naturally holding a level of power over you. But nah, he's cool. Back to Genichiro. Fucker just starts spamming lightning. His second phase is pretty badass, I can't lie. The headless ape is infamous for its fake out death. You'll struggle enough to get to the end of its first phase, so when you do, and you chop the cunt's head off, only for him to pick it back up and come back at you harder than before. Fun? Not as fun as when you have to fight two of them at once though. What the fuck is going on, bro? Owl is another standout, both of his fights actually. The Divine Dragon is an easy fight, it's basically just there for the cinematics, but boy do these cinematics deliver. And of course, Ishin. The scale of this game is so enormous, with so many lifelike locales and conversations to listen in on. There are wolves, monkeys, big ass snakes, big ass monkeys. Nothing feels tacked on or uninspired or unfitting, but as well as the scale of the game, its verticality allows it to be much easier appreciated. Yes, ogling at the gorgeous architecture is one thing, but being able to zip around it on a whim is such a breath of fresh air. There's nothing quite like loving the open world of Elden Ring until you come to a cliff edge and now you have to look around for 10 minutes for a way to get down. Also in Sekiro, we get recurring characters that don't vanish after you've spoken to them once. Characters like Emma and Kuro switch locations a few times in the story, varies depending on which path you take. There are characters that remain in the same place, but at least it's thematically appropriate for them, like the Sculptor or the Undead Warrior. And I hate to compare it to the Souls games again, but I'm gonna anyway. This beautiful world isn't just the setting, it's the backdrop to an actual story, and a pretty good one at that. It's not groundbreaking or especially profound, but my god, it's a good story, man. One that adds emotional weight to boss fights and the decisions / paths that Wolf takes. Wolf cuts through Ashina and zips up to the top of the castle, dogs on Genichiro so he wee-wee-wees all the way home. Kuro asks that Sekiro perform Immortal Severance on him, taking away his immortality, and therefore nobody can ever use the dragon's heritage again. You must gather a few essentials, including one of the mortal blades, a katana capable of killing even those that cannot be killed. Somewhere along the way, you can revisit and play through a flashback of the Hirata estate under siege. Wolf stumbles upon his mortally wounded father, Owl, and pushes forward to kill his attacker to ensure Kuro's safety, to which he does. Flash forward, Owl is still alive, and it is revealed that he faked his death in pursuit of the dragon's heritage, and the player is given two options. Essentially, you must choose between your father or Lord Kuro. If you choose to break the Iron Code, Wolf battles Owl and strikes him down in battle, but there's no time to stop now. He finally gathers the last ingredient for the Immortal Severance ritual, though when he returns, Kuro has been kidnapped by that little cunt Genichiro once again. You fight him where you did in the beginning of the game, and you strike him down with the Mortal Blade. Humiliated, Genichiro sacrifices himself to summon Prime Ishin, his granddaddy. It's certainly not easy, but Wolf strikes down Ishin, and beyond this point, you can get one of three endings. The Immortal Severance ending shows Wolf performing the ritual as planned. The Purification ending, Wolf sacrifices himself to free Kuro of the dragon's heritage. The Return of the Dragon ending shows Wolf taking Kuro to the Divine Child, becomes one with Kuro to return the dragon's heritage to its place of origin. There is also the Shura ending, which cuts the game short technically. If you obey Owl and the Iron Code, you'll fight Emma, and old Ishin, which just feels wrong. Then you're possessed by Shura and end up killing your father again. Anyway, the bad ending. Post-game, you can run one of 4 gauntlets. Each one is a string of bosses you must fight back to back. No replenishing your heals in between. That's about all I have to say on that.
Hesitation is defeat.
I'm actually now on my 4th playthrough of this game. Yes, it is that good. It's not a very long game either. I dragged out my first playthrough. My second playthrough took a little less, but still a decent amount, because I grabbed all the collectibles I missed and fought every mini-boss. If you enter New Game Plus, you'll keep your stats and items and restart the story. So it's perfect for quickly running the game again to get a different ending. And I'm pretty confident that if you play this game, you're gonna want to run it back afterwards. It does have that familiar From Software design, but with a unique touch on it, which pushes it to new heights. So to confirm what I had previously theorized, I do believe this game is exactly what I had yearned for in a Souls game. Being locked to one build doesn't feel restrictive when the build is this fucking awesome. In the Souls games, a lot of your attack power is tied to the level of your weapon, whereas in this game, all of your attack power is tied to the boss fights. Fight a boss, get a memory, and use said memory to upgrade your attack power. This way ensures that every single boss fight is worthwhile, and also that you're never underpowered. Exploring is an absolute breeze when you sprint this fast. Running in the Souls games, there's still a pretty decent chance you get clipped by an enemy when you pass, or get hit by a projectile. This game, no chance, you're way too fucking rapid. It still retains the difficulty, just not the frustrating parts. But also, I'm not shitting on the Souls series. Now that I have Sekiro, I have more appreciation for those games too. These are counterparts. Similar but different enough that neither one invalidates the other. Stay with me for a second here, but a close example is Super Mario 3D World.
Oh, brother!
Hear me out for a second, Jesus. This game was initially seen as mildly disappointing by a lot of Nintendo fans yearning for a traditional 3D Mario game, and to see it falter to 3D Land's formula was frustrating for some. But now that Mario Odyssey is here, we have the best of both worlds. We have the traditional offering and something that breaks away from the norm. Different, but they work together in tandem, making it much easier to appreciate both and not resent the one for cancelling out the other. I rest my case. So to wrap things up, it's familiar enough, but a welcome change and a breathtaking experience from start to finish. Undoubtedly deserving of Game of the Year. Although Elden Ring wasn't my favourite, I can definitely see From Software keep pushing the games to new heights with each entry, and Sekiro makes me very, very excited for what may be next. That's about it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.